reported in the work ticket. That information is transferred now to this logbook.
Okay.
Then it is taken for to the public works for pre-inspection, who will now give the clear indication the defect and how much it's likely to cost. Then it goes for repair. After repair, then it goes back again to public works for post-inspection. Then from there now it's where we can come to figures. So here yet the system has just started. It has not. They have not gone that far. In the year under the audit, there was not such a process.
So, Governor, okay, central level.
Thank you, Chair. Auditor General, in your report, you say the expenditure was not supported by motor vehicle logbooks, showing repairs, driver defects reports, motor vehicle works tickets, pre- and post-repair inspection reports. I think you expected the county government to provide these documents. And in Annex 3, as we can see, all those reports, even samples of some of them, are not there. So how did you accept this response from the county government?
Chair, I think I'm saying that they could not support the 48 million that is being audited. Am I being the subject of the audit?
So you agree that their response today is still not supported?
They are not supporting that figure. What they are saying is that from now on, we will put that system in place. But that system was not there during the reporting time.
So, Governor, you just acquired the system after July 2024. But in the year under review 2023-2024, the logbook was not there.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I want to thank the Senate because out of this inquiry of the last audit report, it was seen that we had not done the right thing in providing all those evidences to support the expenditure. From then on, we have taken the right action to ensure that this is taken care of. From then on, and in the next, in any other audit, the provision of the expenditure will be quite clear.
Apart from the logbook, auditor, what else could we have acquired at that time? Like motor vehicle tickets, work tickets? Was it possible to get them that time? Pre- and post-inspection reports, because then before you repair a vehicle, you must get pre-evaluation report. After it is repaired and serviced, you get a post-repair inspection report. At least those ones should have been provided for. Were they there?
They were not there, that's why they are not provided.
And they're not even there now? Okay, Senator Spooner.
Final question, Chair. Auditor, this figure of 48 was in respect of maintenance of how many vehicles?
Maybe, Chair, they can give us their freight of the number of vehicles.
No. From the audit, you came up with a figure. Surely 48 million was not used to repair this one car that we've been presented documents for. What was it affecting? How many vehicles in the county was it affecting? Alternatively, Governor, how many vehicles does the county government own?
I can't give you a specific number, but upwards of 200 vehicles.
Yeah, so the ones that were affected by these repairs for 48 million, you know them?
I can't give you that answer now, Chairman.
Oh, you can get it, right? The information is there.
Definitely it must be there.
Yeah, so the expectation, Governor, is all the vehicles that were affected by that figure of 48, you would demonstrate the same thing you have done with this number 30C028A. That is the expectation I would have, that when the query is 48 million for X number of vehicles and the vehicles are identified, when you present documents to answer the query, you will present documents for all the vehicles that were affected.
Chairman, given time, I think we should ask our transport and maintenance people and the accountants to be able to provide that information.
Auditor, what do we need in terms of documentation now that some are not there, like the maintenance logbook? How do you think we can address this audit query? What documents can we get to address this query? Or we just have to look into the future and see how they are doing it?
Chair, there is a clear systematic process, as I've said, which starts from the defect from the driver all the way to the roadbook and then to the repair. Another thing that they also need to do is to keep an account for each vehicle, such that the 48 million, can, as Senator Nania said, that you can trace each shilling to a particular vehicle that was maintained. So each vehicle should have its own account.
That is futuristic. I'm asking for this particular query. If we wanted to address it, what would we require the county government to tell us in terms of proof that this 48 million, after all, was not lost, it was actually used? What would we require?
It's to give a list of the vehicles they have and how much each vehicle.
Nobody's writing. Nobody's writing. Governor and your people. So
a list of all the vehicles and equipment that were maintained, and the amount each vehicle, how much each equipment consumed in maintenance, so that now we can trace it back to the vouchers and to get how much each vehicle incurred. And the chair, this information is very important when you keep the record for each vehicle, because it can easily tell you which vehicles are expensive to maintain, such that even when you are procuring next, you say that maybe this kind of vehicle is expensive to maintain when you have information. But without information, you may even continue servicing a vehicle which is beyond servicing.
what is the driver's defect report?
The driver, when he's driving the vehicle, he can understand that the vehicle has a problem. Then he can record that in the work ticket, because that is the document the driver has. Then when he has reported it, when he goes to the office, there is a transport officer who is supposed now to transfer that information from the work ticket to this logbook.
Governor, do you have such a report of drivers saying this vehicle is defective, so it requires to go for repair?
Mr. Chairman, every driver is supposed to report any defect, and that is recorded in the logbooks.
And we get those?
If, for example, a vehicle has worn out tires.
No, it's okay, but I'm saying, can we get those?
Yes,
those want to see how we can mitigate.
Yes, it is possible.
So, motor vehicle work tickets, can we get those?
Motor vehicle work tickets, they are definitely, you can get. And by the way, I just wanted to also add that it might seem that it is just for vehicles that are driven in the county. This includes road machinery. So road machinery for construction and for maintenance are classified as vehicles, but they should actually indicate that they are machines.
Do we have pre and post repair inspection reports?
Yes.
Can we get them?
Yes.
So please provide that to the auditor, because we are saying they're there in 1 week.
Thank
It
you.
is so guided.
We will oblige.
The next one, auditor, we need to look at unauthorized and unutilized water projects. Please go through that paragraph.
Thank you, Chair. That is paragraph number 6 on the Auditor General's report. Unauthorized and unutilized water projects. The statement of receipts and payments reflect acquisition of assets totaling to 1,658,251,382, including construction and civil works expenditure of 538,086,713. Included in the construction and civil works expenditure is an amount of 32,148,270 paid to contractors for drilling, piping, and equipping of 11 boreholes. However, the permits from the Water Resource Management Authority, WALMA, and the water quality testing report indicating whether the parameters levels are within the recommended water quality standards set by NEMA were not provided for audit. In addition, 3 boreholes drilled at a cost of 6,994,700 had not been equipped. In the circumstance, the completeness and right and obligation, occurrence and existence on the expenditure totaling to 32,148,270 incurred on drilling of the boreholes could not be confirmed. Chair.
Governor, give us your management response.
Yes. Water samples were taken for each of the boreholes drilled and taken to be approved by water quality laboratories. Normally we take them to Eldoret, and reports of the same were supplied to guide the next stage of implementation. The water quality reports are attached here as appendices. The 3 boreholes drilled at a cost of 6.9 million had not been equipped during the period of audit. Kimau Moguka has currently been equipped. Sarakwa and Gilgil boreholes will be equipped using this current financial year, 2024-2025 budgeted funds, and a copy of the budget sheet is attached. Yes, that is the answer.
Auditor, how does that response sit?
Chair, they have attached the water quality testing quality reports, but the authority, the approval to drill the boreholes have not been provided. So that is still outstanding. Next, is that the 2024-2025 financial year is coming to an end in a week or two. So is it still that equipping? Will it be done within the or it will still flow outside the budgeted period?
Governor, what do you have to say about that? There were no approvals to drill the boreholes. What happened? Are they there and that you didn't provide, or they are not there?
This is a routine activity that the department must always do to be able to get approvals for the water. And sometimes when there is a delay from Warma, they proceed so that they can get the approvals as they move on. We shall be able to regularize this if there is nothing which has been attached here. On the issue of the budget,
Governor, we are not getting you. Do you have the permits or you don't?
We have permits for many, for only some.
The ones that have been queried here?
Yes, yeah.
Do you have the permits for them? It's a yes or no. This is not something
we have not received.
What have you done? Because you have annexed something here called budget for permits. What's that? If you look at your Annexure 5, Governor, it says you have annexed budget for permits. What's that? What does that mean?
Yeah. Let me ask my accountant to respond to that.
Thank you, Chair. I think we had budgeted for acquisition of permits from Warma, and the understanding from the Department of Water is that Warma could not provide us with invoices for payment because they have a pending case of civil societies raising issues on water and charges fees. They went to court, and Warma said they cannot provide.
Where is that communication from Warma?
I think we can provide in the next within a week if.
Yeah, but my brother, you have interacted with this query for all this time. You knew you were coming to the Senate. All you needed to do is to bring that story you are telling us in writing. We would have moved on to other things. Governor, you see that the reason why we are wasting so much time is just failure to produce a document. If somebody has such a letter in his office, surely, and he knows it can answer to this, why is he keeping it there? Why not provide that evidence?
Governor.
On their behalf, I do apologize, and we are going to make sure that that happens.
Dr. Levi.
Governor, you informed the committee that you normally take your water samples to Eldoret for analysis, and I guess you take to the government chemist. But seeing your attachment at Annex 5, the water analysis samples is done, the first attachment is done by government chemist, the document titled Certificate of Analysis. And when you go to the next, it's done by Nanyuki Water and Sewerage Company. I don't know if the requirements to do water analysis by county government or government agencies or for any person who drills boreholes is done by a water company like Nanyuki Water Sewerage Company. I guess you have a water company in Baringo. Do you do water analysis in that company? Secondly,
the chair. Oh, sorry.
The other attachment that follows is also the same, is also a water quality assessment document by, I think, Nanyuki. Now the logo has changed from, or the appearance of that document has changed. And I guess if Nanyuki Water and Sewerage Company does water analysis, then they should have a form to indicate the results of water analysis. You can also proceed. There is another document. The appearance look different from Nanyuki Water and Sewerage Company. The third. And the other one is Central Water Testing Laboratory. So why do you take your water analysis or for these boreholes that you dug in Baringo to different laboratories for water testing? And are these laboratories certified to do water analysis?
Governor, through the chair, to Senator Lengwe, thank you for that question. Our water companies are not very old, and the capacity to do analysis of our water is limited. So we normally partner with other other companies that have facilities for testing. We have worked with Nanyuki, we have worked with the Eldowas, and even we have worked with the Central Rift Waterworks. In fact, Central Rift Waterworks is the parent company of our companies, which are Grandich Water Company and Chemosusu Water Company. We do plan to acquire facilities for testing of water within our own water companies. We do not bring the testing to government chemists because these water companies have got the capacity to do the testing. Thank you.
Auditor, Warma approval reports, approvals are out there. Water testing reports have been provided. 2 boreholes have been equipped. 1 has not. What do we require sharply so that we can address this query?
Just before it
yes,
goes,
okay.
Again, Governor, my advice to you is that when a query is about 11 boreholes, you supply documents for 11 boreholes. So I have counted the ones you've submitted here, they are not 11. Secondly, Governor, I'm very curious because these documents should be mentioning the county government of Baringo at some point. But if you look at all these documents, the test results, when you look at the client, it says Cheboi community. You go to another one, it says Nasur community water. Shouldn't the client be the county government of Baringo? Unless I'm missing something, Auditor.
Governor?
Use your mic, please.
Yeah, Chair, through the chair, the quality tests are for specific boreholes. And so when they talk about a particular borehole, they do not, maybe they have not indicated that this particular borehole is Baringo County, but they are the ones that we send to them to do the testing. So it is not anything else other than a borehole which is domiciled in Baringo County. Maybe the correction...
How do we know that this is the one that the county did and not the community themselves? Because even we do community boreholes.
The correction, therefore, which we are going to insist is that when we ask for that quality test, we should indicate that this borehole is specifically in Baringo County in a particular location. And
not that, Governor. What we are saying is the document should indicate that this is a borehole done by the county government of Baringo.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Chairman.
because it will bring other issues even when it comes to invoicing. Do you invoice the Loruk community?
No.
Do you invoice the county government?
No. Yeah. Thank you for that advice.
Right. Auditor,
Chair.
Dr. Levy.
Chair, and most of your water quality assessment reports are not dated. So I don't know when these reports or this analysis was done.
Which annex is that?
You can, Annex 5, you can go to the document titled, because it's not paginated, Nanyuki Water and Storage Company. Okay, I can see the date there. The date received is 25th.
So there's a date?
There's a date.
All right. All right. Auditor?
In fact, there's a date, and it's saying Nasuru Community Water Company, for example, the client's location is Baringo.
All right.
There's a question you have not answered that the auditor had asked Governor. Your response is here that Tarakwa and Gilgil boreholes will be equipped using this current financial year. We are 2 weeks away from the end of the current financial year. What is the status of those 2 boreholes? And will you be able to keep this answer?
Governor, let me ask my procurement officer to respond whether they have equipped that boreholes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honorable members. In this financial year, there is a budget for equipping the boreholes.
Just project a bit.
Yeah, I was saying that for this financial year, we have planned to equip the boreholes that were dug at that time. So there's a provision in the current budget.
That's not the question.
That's not the answer. Give us the question.
Governor, there are 2 boreholes you have said you will finish in the financial 24-25. That financial year ends at the end of this month. Are you going to do it? Or you can't be budgeting at the end of the year, surely?
Sorry. Yeah, we are equipping. Actually, currently, we have done a procurement for equipping for those boreholes that have already been dug. It is ongoing at the moment.
These 2 that the governor is talking?
Yes.
It's ongoing?
It is ongoing.
Why didn't you say that? Because this is today. In the response, why didn't you say that? And how do we know that it's ongoing?
I apologize for that.
How many apologies are we going to render today, Governor?
Chairman, allow me to ask the relevant department to provide evidence that this has been done during this financial year, before the end of the financial year.
At what stage are we? Do you see yourself getting it done before the end of the financial year?
Yes, it doesn't take a long time to equip.
What stage are the works, if you know?
Have you procured?
We have awarded contracts. The contractors, some of them are already on site. Yeah, we already awarded the contracts. So we just need to confirm the implementation status.
I think I should just have stuck with the apology. I can see where...
You can do the apology.
Let's just take the apology.
So that
we don't know what is going on.
We say let the auditor follow it through in the in-year audit. But then also tell me, auditor, what do we need? What else do we need to mitigate on this query?
Yeah, Chair, it is very clear from the BFM Act that before you commit the public funds, you have to have the necessary approvals. So even before drilling, they should have the WALMA approval, they should have the NEM approvals. Because what happens once you have drilled the boreholes and the NEMA does not approve, will you refill the borehole or what will be done? So it's good to follow the necessary procedures in the car funds when you have necessary approvals. So we need NEMA approvals. We also need the WALMA approvals for those boreholes.
So, Governor? Mr. Chairman, we are properly directed. We will ensure that going forward, there is no borehole that is going to be sunk without WARMA and NEMA approvals. Maybe the department are very used to working together with Warma and NEMA, and sometimes they have a way of working together, but we will get sufficient evidence that this has been done. Thank you.
So make sure that all the permits are there, and try to navigate and see that they're given quickly enough, because the people are thirsty. Those are projects for the public. They are thirsty and they want water. They don't want these very many stories and apologies. What they want is water. They want to drink water. The people of Baringo are thirsty. So just make sure that you get the approvals. Number one, not just to mitigate on the query, but also to make sure that there is value for money. Give us an indication on when we'll get those documents and approvals, Governor.
During the audit of the area reports, I think we shall be able to provide information to the Audit General.
Auditor, keep it in view and report to us before we write the reports. Next query is paragraph 7, unsupported legal expenses. Auditor, please go through that query.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph number 7, unsupported legal expenses. The statement of receipts and payment reflect the use of goods and services amounting to Kenya shillings 1,300,763,174, as disclosed in Note 4 to the financial statements. Included in the expenditure are legal costs of Kenya shillings 900,000 that were not supported with details on the level of court, i.e. High Court or Court of Appeal, status of the case, ongoing or complete, period taken to complete the case, the cost implication of the concluded cases, the procurement of legal firms, evidence of the court attendance, invoice indicating the services offered, and certificates of appointment in respect of each case or transaction. In the circumstances, the occurrence, rights and obligation, valuation, existence of the legal expenditure of Kenya shillings 900,000 could not be confirmed. Chair.
Governor, let's get your response.
Let me ask my chief officer responsible for this to answer.
Go ahead.
Secretary.
Chair, on this matter of the legal expenses, the annexes you've provided is for a case that will process as pending bills. And when you look at the was processed is a case that was handled in the year 2014. And during that time, how we used to process legal fees was that we did not have that provision for the appointment letter. What was done was that legal law firms were empaneled and we were processing them without that requirement. But when you look at the second document, Chair, the appointment letter is there. We have, yeah? Chair, the Annex 6, the evidence is provided. Annex 6 has two cases. The first is a case for Limo, RK and Company. When you look at the case, it was a matter that was handled in the year 2014, Chair. And when you analyze the documents, it is true that the appointment letter is not there. But in the second case, that is also part of the documentation, we have attached an appointment letter, which was now part of the processes for TLO advocates. Sorry, Chair, the document is not paginated. It is still under Annex 6, the second voucher.
When you don't paginate, then you give us a little problem in getting to the documents.
Yeah, you said you're chief officer.
Yeah, I'm chief officer for public service and also the accounting officer for the county attorney.
Chief officer, the problem that was cited again was non-provision of documents during audit. it is very unfair for you to bring documents at this particular stage in time. What the auditor is saying during audit, and Governor, I think this is the 5th time where an audit query is being raised simply because you have documents that you don't provide at the point of audit. I am very interested to know if you attend exit and entry meetings with the auditors, yourself as the CEO of the county.
Mr. Chairman, I have religiously attended entry and exit meetings.
So which religion is this that does not allow you to, which religion is this that doesn't allow you to see the gaps that we are seeing now, Governor?
Mr. Chairman,
because at those meetings, and I'm speaking as also somebody who's audited as the accounting officer of ODM, during the exit meeting, they will tell you these documents have not been provided. The questions I'm asking you should have asked your staff during those exit meetings, and we would not be here.
Mr. Chairman, I think...
Please don't apologize.
I am not going to apologize this time, Chairman. I accept that during these audits, I think it was 2023, 24, I have had to call on all the chief officers concerned to work diligently with the auditors in providing documentary evidence for any audits that they are doing. They have since improved to the extent that during the last audit, from the auditor himself, he said that the staff that were giving them to work with them in provision of documents have done very well. And indeed, we were rated as, we were qualified. We were just having qualified accounts. Before, between 2019 up to 2022, 2023, I do not want to say that in my absence, but we were having challenges, challenges with the accounts. We have improved, and we are not going to even go back there again.
So you can assure us that the next time we sit down to look at 24-25, there will not be a single audit query arising from non-provision of documents.
You have my assurance through the chair, Senator Sifuna, you have assurance on that.
Okay.
But because the law is already refracted, maybe legal counsel read to the governor that part on provision of documents and the attendant penalties that can... is it possible to get it quickly? As you're looking for it, auditor, when you looked at these documents, was the... because we required appeal, the level of court, do we have them here? The status of case, ongoing complete, period of the case, cost implication, do we have all those documents here? And after reviewing them, can that then audit query go?
Chair,
apart from just the professional documents, which we'll deal with at the report writing stage?
Chair, they have not attached what we required from the audit, the documents that we required. What they have just attached is the voucher and the ruling. That means that the case has been concluded. But what we were asking for is the breakdown of and the support of the payment. Like now you are paying Remo 500,000. From the Advocates Remunerations Act, there is a way they raise the invoice. Maybe they could have attached that Advocates Remuneration Act, the way the advocate has arrived at the 500. So that's 500.
Governor, are the documents there or not?
Chair, the document on the fee note arose out of the request from the demand letter from the advocate. So we did not have that. And the point I wanted to make, Chair, was that when you look at these two vouchers, the reason we put them here is to demonstrate that we were processing them as pending bills, which means that by the time this documentation was done, those accounting requirements had not been adhered to. And it's something that we concede to.
That was for the case of 2014?
Yeah, this case that is here. We paid in 2023, but it was a case that was concluded in 2014. At that time, Chair, those documentation were not being prepared properly. But we have had now, since the enactment of the Office of the County Attorneys Act, it has now even improved how we report, and now we support the payment of legal fees.
Do you have a county attorney, Governor?
Yes, through the chair, we had a county attorney up to 2 months ago. Yeah, up to April. Unfortunately, we lost him, and we have advertised for a new county attorney.
Okay. What is the staff complement for the office of the county attorney in Baringo? How many officers, legal officers, do you have? Because the assurance he has given is, it's very simple to pick just the documents the auditor is asking for. If somebody says court attendance, the county attorney's office should know what that is, invoices, but you're saying they were not being done then. Again, you want to give us an assurance that they are being done currently and that this question will not recur.
Mr. Chair, the staff complement is small. We have only 2 advocates together with the county attorney. There may be need for us to strengthen it.
When was the payment done for this case?
So the payment was processed in 20th September 2023.
2023.
Yes.
Auditor, again, back to you. How does that response sit with you?
Chair, even if it was a pending bill is created out of an invoice.
Yes.
That invoice should have been attached because it was still not paid until it was paid. So it should be part of the supporting documents of the payment.
So then, what do we do with this query?
Chair, they need to confirm that there was a pending bill, so they produce the invoice or the fee note.
Where is the invoice?
Or the fee note of the...
The fee note?
Chair, even if it was a part payment, let them bring that evidence that the invoice was $1 million. This time we are paying for 500, then there's a balance of something that can justify the payment.
I think the officer there said during that period in time they never used to prepare those documents.
Chair.
That's what he
But
said.
if the invoice was honored in 2023, the payment was done in 2023, then some invoice must have been raised. Where is the invoice?
Chair, what we referred to and we used was the fee note that was raised by the advocate. And as I said earlier, is that it is...
When you get a fee note, how do you honor that fee note?
Chair, we can supply that fee note. I think it's just not part of the documentation, but
you can't pay through an invoice.
It's the fee note supplied by the lawyer and the law firm, and then an invoice comes.
Okay. Yes, sir. So there's no invoice?
For this particular case, because it was a historical pending bill that we took through the pending bill processing process, and we felt that it is necessary for us to clear it.
They did not. Again, coming before this committee, they knew before, about 2 weeks. The invitation was done before for about 2 weeks. And again, they are appearing before this committee, and in every audit query, they are saying they will supply the documents they were supposed to supply at the time of audit and at the time of appearance of this committee. So I don't know how we can proceed, Chair, because in every audit query here, there are no sufficient evidence or attachments that we can refer to resolve the matters as raised by the Auditor General. Chair.
Okay, but there's a payment voucher here, number 1242, where is it? For Limo RK Advocates. And number 1239 for TLO Advocates. What have you seen the documents, the vouchers?
Yes, I've seen the vouchers without attachments. That's why I'm saying there's a payment without a supporting invoice. The 500 and the 400.
So we have the payment vouchers, but there are no invoices. Do you have the fee notes?
Chair, for the second case for TLO, advocates, there is a deposit request note, and it specifies the amount owed that they were remanding, but you're only able to pay 400,000. So they still owe, and that is the basis of how we arrived at that amount, based on the amount that was available, because it was negotiated at that time of payment. But for the first one, it is why I say that at that time, 2014, the documentation was not available and we could not be able to see this, but we process it now as a pending bill.
Okay, the capacity then was quite low. Auditor, just maybe keep the issue in view, and we see the best way of resolving it. But as it is now, the issue still remains unresolved until all the documents. Yes, auditor.
Maybe, Chair. I think also the narration of the payment, the voucher should also be specific. They are saying from that voucher, the second voucher of 400, they are saying payment for fee charges for Eldoret ELC applications. So this is a fee, this is a charge, this is a fee you are paying the auditor. It's not a deposit that you are referring to. So when you are writing the voucher, let the narration be clear to the payments that you are making.
So that issue still remains unresolved. Unreconciled pending bills will be the next issue. Okay, let me see. Unreconciled pending bills. Auditor, go through that paragraph.
Thank you, Chair. This is paragraph number 2 under other matters. Unreconciled pending bills. Note 20 to the financial statements reflect the pending bills account payable amount of 245,459,811. However, there is an unreconciled variance between the control of budget report and the figure in the financial statements amount as shown below. Below there is a table between pending bills, accounts payable of 245, then pending staff payable 151 million, total making 396. Control of budget was 369, 250, 531. There's a difference of 27 million, 624, 384. In the circumstances, the completeness and accuracy of the pending bills account payable balance of 245, 859, 811 could not be confirmed. Chair.
Governor, go through your response. Where is it? Which page is it?
Chair.
Your document is not paginated, and we really get frustrated when documents are not paginated.
Can I read?
Let me just get to where it is. Just go ahead, Governor.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The pending bills report keeps changing due to continuous submission of pending bills vouchers by various departments and suppliers. As at 30th June 2024, the pending bills balance was Kenya shillings 369,250,531 as submitted to the Controller of Budget. However, at the time of finalizing the financial statements, the figure had risen to 396,874,915, creating a variance of 27 million. This has made it difficult to have a static status of pending bills report. To resolve this, the departments were directed to procure as per the assented budget. Attached is a current reconciliation status of the report of pending bills submitted to the Office of the Auditor General. Further, the county government were not funded during the June 2024 exchequer, which increased the pending bills. There is evidence as Annex 7. Yeah, last year, or during that financial year, we did not get the last payment of the equitable share in June. It was carried forward to the next financial year. Let me ask the accountant here to clarify, if anything, if there's any clarification.
Before he clarifies, because then we have this as your response. Auditor, did that response answer your query?
Chair, it does not. The things that you required here were very simple. They were reporting at 30th June 2024. So the report they took to the control of budget is the same figure that we are supposed to have in the financial statements, because these were pending bills as at that date. So if there is any difference, changes, then they could have brought the report that they took to the control of budget together with what was in the financial statements. Then we see which are the new pending bills.
Accountant, that now can respond, can clarify, because that's a straightforward thing, really. At the fourth quarter, you report the control of budget and also do your financials to the auditor. Now there's a variance of 27 million from the financials that you gave to the auditor and the report you gave to the control of budget. Why was it like that?
Chair, mostly the report that we give to the control of budget is as of 30th June, which is true. The same report that we give to the Auditor General. But in most cases, the one for control of budget is almost like an approximate figure. Because by the time that we give the report to the control of budget, usually the 15th of July, immediately, for just 15 days at the end of the quarter report. So by that time we are reporting that the controller, most of the departments have not submitted their full pending bills. Chair, I agree with you that we ought to have provided a reconciliation, or the difference of 27 million to the audit team. But that was not done because I think...
Are you saying that the pending bills are not computed from a centralized place? They're computed from the departments?
Usually, Chair, departments send us their pending bills because we have various units. So in most cases, they don't send on time. And it's really unfortunate, and it's a problem that we have until I think...
I thought the departments process payments.
Yes.
But the payments are made where?
Centrally.
Centrally.
There are those payment, Chair, that the department don't submit, or those invoices.
How do we come up with a pending bill?
Non-payment.
Non-payment.
Yes.
That you processed a payment has reached IB, but it finds there is no money.
There is also, Chair, that's one scenario. There's also those that they don't come. The department don't send. So you end up, like what we usually do with our chief officer here, some departments don't send the full list. So we end up knowing, because a supplier, for example, calls you, tells you, this department owes me. So we tell the department.
Governor, without going to many stories, once the query was raised, all you needed to do is to provide a reconciliation. What is the difficulty in providing a reconciliation instead of giving us all those long stories? You can resolve it. It's in the query. It says unreconciled. All you need to do is to provide the reconciliation. Why has that not been done? What excuse do you have? Which department?
Did you require reconciliation? Audit. When you say unreconciled, did we require a reconciliation?
Between the two figures, the one that was given to the controller of budget and the one that was given to the auditor. Just that. Governor, what is the explanation? No apologies, no more apologies.
remembering that the control of budget is the one paying. So if you give a different figure and you say it's an approximate, then you cannot be an approximate. You have to be exact.
That one was something I was very shocked to hear, that this is an estimate.
And in Chair, what I'm saying here is that from what he's explaining, the end year activities, like now, all officers in the government have said we are coming to an end of the financial year, all departments submit their pending account payables, so that by June you have all the figures. So saying that the departments are not provided, it means they were not involved.
Yeah, because the way I know it is different from what he's saying, and that's why I wanted him to unlearn, make me unlearn, and then relearn. Because I already learned that this is how we determine a pending bill. And I wanted him to make me unlearn and then learn the new way. But auditor just tell me how we come up with a pending bill, so that now I reconcile also what I know with what is the real situation. How do you come up with a pending bill? Or how do you determine a pending bill?
A pending bill is when you have received an invoice, you process payment, but by the time you're paying, you find you don't have adequate funds, then you put it aside.
What I know
waiting.
is actually the situation.
You put it aside waiting for funds.
So what I know is the real thing.
Yes.
So I don't need to unlearn anything. Okay, Governor, why did you reconcile?
From what the auditor has said, it means that preparation for payment for the bills were done, and there was no money at the time of payment. What we will ask our finance people is to determine whether the money for payment arrived immediately at the end of after the end of the financial year, or when, so that they can do the reconciliation. But let me just ask him to explain.
In fact, Chair, they don't even need to confirm. What they need to say, what did they submit the control of budget? Have the list of pending bills submitted to the control of budget. Then see what is in the financial statements. Then we see the difference. Then we can reconcile the two, that what is missing here is this.
Yeah, Chair, that's simple. Governor, do you have the list that you've submitted to the control of budget confirming your pending bills?
Definitely, the list is there.
No.
Is it attached here?
Governor can say definitely. We want to know if you have that list.
Let me ask my accountants to confirm.
Yes, Chair, I have the list.
Can you submit the same to the auditor?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. So once you do that, then we would be working towards addressing that audit query. Otherwise, it would remain in pendency until those documents are provided. Now, the other query would be to do with construction of market sheds and stalls at Kapso. Market sheds and stalls at Kapso. Auditor, please go through that paragraph.
Thank you, Chair. That is paragraph number 7, under lawfulness and effectiveness of use of public resources paragraph, construction of market sheds and stalls at Kapso. The statement of receipts and payment reflect acquisition of assets expenditure totaling to 1,658,251,382. Included in the expenditure were construction of building amounting to 575,059,650, out of which a payment of 2,899,327 was in respect of the construction of a market sheds and stalls at Kapso Center. However, the contractor did not attach bank statements of 2020 and 2021. This was contrary to the Regulation 32 of the Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015, Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Regulation 2020. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Yeah.
Governor?
Before I ask the procurement director to answer, I will read. The bidder was successful in preliminary evaluation as per the set criteria. requirements for audited financial statements and bank statements for 2020 and 2021 were under technical evaluation stage and was being considered along other weighted parameters like proof of previous supply and similar works and magnitude during field and stamped form of quotation, relevant qualified personnel, and completeness of quotation, duly stamped of any field documents. The bidder, MS Cheboi Construction Limited, and I want to declare that that is not me, scored 0 marks for the mentioned items by the auditor. However, the IFMI system weighted the average score marks for all builders where the bidder was able to obtain a minimum pass mark, sail through to the costing evaluation stage. Comparison of comparison of price, as in brackets, and was finally awarded recommended by evaluation committee as the lowest evaluated responsive bidder. Maybe before I ask the procurement director to answer, let me hear the comments of the auditor.
You will leave me to chair this meeting. Why do you want to be chair? And
sorry,
also
Chairman. Sorry, Chairman.
Chair, I just wanted to advise Governor.
Yes,
maybe his sugar levels are going low. Governor, that room we are entering and leaving has some Senate hospitality, and it is not just for us. It's for you and for the team from Baringo. So feel free to have a cup of tea. If the sugar levels are going low and you want to now rush the meeting through.
Thank you.
And taking over
we cannot allow you to leave Nairobi without a cup of tea. So please make sure that you avail yourself of the Senate hospitality.
Yes, and that tea and again to constitute an audit query on our side. So, auditor, when you hear that response, how does it sit with you? And what is actually the problem?
The problem, Chair, is that the firm that was awarded was given favor because they did not submit the financial capability to perform the project. So the financial statements for that company were not provided.
So, Governor, now you've heard from the auditor.
They were just worried those.
Now give that person who was supposed to assist you.
Thank you. I've had Director Procurement.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Chair. Just as the report was read by our Governor, the evaluation report was not really favoring that bidder. So many parameters were taken into consideration. When we are doing an evaluation criteria, we use the IFMI system. I think we can refer to Annex number 8, that we have provided the evaluation matrix that we used to award that bidder. Now, the first stage was the preliminary and the technical. So when we did the weighted marks, which is in page 2 of that annex, you can see that the bidders, all of them passed the minimum, which was 50 marks. Now, when we did the weighted, considering the technical and the preliminary and the financial, the bidder who was awarded emerged the lowest evaluated bidder. So despite the fact that as the auditor has mentioned that the audited reports were not
the bank statements.
The bank statements. We considered all the parameters that were provided in the evaluation criteria.
Yeah, but it is a straightforward question, Madam. Why were there no bank statements for 2020 and 2021? Which bidder is this that does not have bank accounts or bank statements?
I was just explaining that they may not have had the bank statements, but there were other parameters that we were using.
Yeah, we don't care about the other parameters. We're asking what explanation would a contractor have for not attaching bank statements? What was it? We're not saying you disqualify them because
in other parameters. That is
so I'm not answering the question.
Just send us phone. Let me just try to see if I'm understanding what the procurement bank statements.
Yes.
So much so that if you don't provide bank statements, you lose marks.
Yes.
But then also there are other parameters that would make you win that tender. For as long as you're the lowest bidder. That's what I'm getting.
That's understood. The
Yes.
question is, at the very minimum, the entity should inquire from this person why they have not provided those bank statements, especially at the point of award. What was the explanation? You can also say you never asked.
No.
It's also an answer.
Okay, because the criteria, the bidder lost the marks in that criteria, then maybe we would have asked, it was actually something post-evaluation, but we could not have included as a matrix in the evaluation.
When was this project being done? When was it being done?
It's December 2024.
2024, and the statements are for 2020 and 2021. So is it possible they are not useful, or why were they left out?
And then, Chair, after the governor, not the governor, the auditor now raises it as a query. What steps have you taken to obtain those documents? Because all you need to do is to write to these people and say, it has now become an audit query. Is it possible for you to supply those statements? Have you done so, Governor?
No, Mr. Chair, but let me ask the accountant to explain why didn't ask for the...
Because in my view, Chair, if the entity just wrote to this gentleman and told them, by the way, this has now become an audit query, is it possible to supply these documents?
No, you know, what I want to understand, Senator Sifuna, is that a company that was not existing in 2021 might not be having the bank statements because they are being awarded a tender in 2024. And so the company could be a new company to make these market shades. Are you telling me if they don't have, they cannot just say we don't have those bank, just say we don't have those bank statements because we are not in existence, then we are not there
that
then.
Would close the query.
Yes.
But it has to be prompted from the entity, just
Yes.
saying the auditor has raised this as an issue. Do you have them or not? We just say we were not in existence then, so we didn't have those.
Auditor, what are your expectations?
And, okay.
What does the regulation say? Because then...
And Chair,
Dr. Leng.
and maybe in your evaluation criteria, you have a checklist. And I think in that checklist, you maybe have mandatory documents. Was the bank statement mandatory? Like if you don't have a CR12 or you don't have a tax compliance, can you award a contract without a tax compliance, bank statement, or the certificate of registration of that company? Was the bank statement mandatory requirement?
Through the chair, it was not, it was in the technical. So the mandatory is the one which is in the preliminary, which includes the tax compliance, the certificate of incorporation, the CR12. So this one was in the technical where we were giving marks for provision. So it was not mandatory.
Auditor,
why did you...
does the regulation state, the one that you're citing?
In your response, now we are guiding you to respond to these audit
legal
queries.
counsel, legal has moved out. Regulation 32. Okay, also our legal is not there. But then, what are you saying that it's mandatory for a company to...
Chair, there's an importance of disclosing the bank details. One, we show the capability, financial capability of the firm to discharge the project. Two, if it's awarded, this company should have a bank account where you are going to pay.
Yes,
so when
but now if it was not in existence, because what was not attached to our statements for 2020 and 2021,
they could have,
what would happen if it was not there? At all. Hey, lady, procurement officer, there are no bank statements and you are ordered.
The chair, we can get the current status of those projects so that you can know whether it was capable to this.
They did not attach any bank statement. How are they supposed to be paid? Are they supposed to be a wire from central bank to the bank of that?
I've had the auditors, I've had complete. I want to testify that now on the issue of the bank statement where they were paid, I am aware that that contractor is a contractor who has been around for quite a while. It's just that maybe the officers did not demand of those bank statements. So definitely it must be having a bank statement or a bank account.
Auditor, just help me with this.
Chairman, you had asked for regulation number 32. With your permission, maybe I can read it?
Yes, please.
Very short one. The financial evaluation of the tenders or proposals received shall be in a strict adherence.
The one mandatorily has a bank statement. Because it's like it was an
law has been read, it is the set criteria. So the mandatories are normally in relation to the laws of Kenya, where you cannot do a contract without a compliance. But for the bank statement, it is not mandatory, because we take into consideration that there may be some companies who have just registered, so we will be disqualifying them for being new in the market. So the law requires that you set the criteria. So when we set the criteria, we consider that we may be dealing with the companies which were just registered and they may not have the bank statements. But for this particular one, maybe it was an error because the contractor actually, we believe, has. But the
no, it was an error because
the IFMI system does not allow us to introduce a new document. So even if the contractor we ask them to bring, it is already missing in the system. So there is no way we can put back into the system for us to correct.
Or there are no banks in that area?
Banks, I think maybe the contractor may have erroneously just missed to attach the marks according to the criteria that we set.
Auditor, how do we mitigate on this?
I think as the firms that are awarded meet all the criteria so that we avoid. No, it's not, but you don't do proper evaluation. Like not.
Indicating that according to the procurement law, it is not a requirement to have a bank statement. That's what she's indicating.
But even if it's not there by law, you need to have that information so that at the end of the contract you need to pay.
So, Governor, how was the payment made?
You need to know the account that person has an account.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think the requirement for the financial statement is to give the evaluating entity confidence that the bidder will be able to do the work. Now, in this case, unfortunately, the bidder did not attach the financial statement. If they were to remove that condition, if they were to award without that condition, the person who would be the highest bidder, he could have been knocked out with other guys who have got the statements. But he was not knocked out in the sense that the other criteria he won. But what we are saying is, in any subsequent tenders, we are advising the procurement department to ensure that for comfort on the ability of the bidder, let us make sure that there is a bank statement, even if it's not a criteria by in the procurement process.
Chair. Auditor, are you in doubt that that particular contractor was not paid through his account? Because the way I understand, the confirmation of bank statement is not to confirm your bank details. You can confirm your bank details at the time of payment. To confirm that you have bank statements is to confirm that you have the ability to do the contract. So are you in doubt that the payment that was made was not made to the company that was awarded the contract because of lack of details, of banking details?
Chair, that is one That's one risk. And the other risk, you may find that maybe the bank had a liability.
No, just confine yourself to that first risk.
The first risk is that there are chances that it cannot be, you may pay somebody else. I'm another account. So it's good to commit yourself from the beginning that, yes, this is my farm, these are my details, these are my bank details, so that even the payment will be made to that particular account.
But when you're raising invoices, you can change even your account.
Yeah.
Say, please don't pay to this, pay to another account.
And the reason why you're asking for bank statements is not to confirm your banking details. The reason is to confirm that you have the ability to do the contract.
Confirming bank details is one of it, because you must also have that bank account where I'm going to pay last. And the details you are giving, it is for you. Like now, I may not have, if I've tendered, I may not use his account. I will use mine. So that's why, what was the contractor hiding by not providing the financial statements?
Chair, so the governor can provide the documents that were not provided. Maybe the payment vouchers to see whether that contractor was actually paid or the other person.
Chair, we will be obliged to give any document that's required, including asking the tenderer or the winner to provide bank statements and a bank account for our comfort, and also the payment vouchers. All I know is that the project is complete and it's operational, but these other...
So, auditor, the project is there and complete. How do you address this audit query?
Chair, we will confirm the payment details. And
that will do?
That will do.
Thank you. There's one issue that we wanted to really go through, but before we do that, there are some senators who have come in. Please just go on record.
Good morning, Chair. Sorry, good afternoon. Karibuni sana. Thank you, Chair. We were in another.
Okay.
Senator Kongo Mogeni, Senator Nyamira, member of this committee.
Yeah, because of the work that we're having, we're running subcommittees. The senators have just come in, plus the chair were engaging the county government of Kericho. I think they are through, that's why they've come here. So, auditor, look at paragraph 6. It is a paragraph that would interest me, and we cannot just rely on the written responses. Please go through that one. 6, irregular engagement of casual employees.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph number 6, irregular engagement of employees, casual employees. The statement of receipts and payment reflect compensation of employees expenditure amounting to Kenya shillings 3,214,252,531. The amount includes basic wages of temporary employees amounting to Kenya shillings 20,232,540 as disclosed in Note 3 to the financial statements. However, engagement of casual workers was not authorized by the County Public Service Board, authorizing the departments to employees. This was contrary to Section 74 of the County Government Act 2012, which requires that the County Public Service Board to regulate the engagement on contract, volunteer, and the casual workers in its public bodies, competitively recruited and signed master rolls, showing attendance of the casual workers who are also circumstance. Management was in breach of the law. Chair.
Governor, your response?
Chair, the county government has not been able to do recruitment of staff to handle some critical areas due to revenue challenges. To ensure that service delivery is not affected, casually we did not get, or rather they did not get authorization from the county public service.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. On the matter of the first of all, a historical issue that upon the start of the county government,
When
they
was
have
this?
continued to serve, but
That's
under
so,
partial
auditor?
terms.
Is that so?
It's true.
That the casual employees.
We have